Stuff just went complete to hell. There we go. My audio wasn't working for a second, but now we got it. What is good, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Renegade Roundtable Podcast. I am Jeffrey Kirby. We also got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Caleb. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I mean, honestly, I was just thinking, when was the last time I've been on two in a row of these?
I don't know. You know what? Right now, this is some breaking news stuff, and we also did have some breaking news that came out just about a half hour ago that we're getting ready to discuss here in a second. But double breaking news: Caleb is on a show 2 weeks in a row. Holy hell! We're on last week. I'm talking Penguins a lot. This week we're making monumental things happen here on the channel. We're doing something here. This is great.
So what's our breaking news we got to get to?
So we did get some breaking news in for about a half hour ago. Actually, it was about 45 minutes ago or so. I'm getting ready to load up this tweet. As soon as it loads up, here we go. Boom. This was a tweet from former Pitt wide receiver Jordan Addison, and as it just went away, there we go. There we go. So basically, as you can see, we have it here on the screen. He talks about how he's basically decided to transfer to USC. What's up, Steel Black? I see you. So Mr. Jordan Addison is officially out of Pitt, and he is now going to Southern California to play for the USC Trojans. Now, we all know that this is a part of the NIL deal, and I know a lot of people are taking this in different ways. And anyone who is watching, please let me know down in the comments, what is your opinion on it? What is your thoughts? Because this has become a very controversial topic over the last year since this became a thing. I'm gonna let since you're more of the Pitt Panther fan here than I am, so you know more about them than I do. I'll let you take the floor here. What are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, my first reaction is good. At least this is over with and we're done dealing with this drama, because it's been a while of dealing with this. Is he going to go? Is he going to stay? Where is he going? I'm kind of just glad. We all knew he was leaving. We all knew he was going to chase the money, which honestly isn't the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world that these athletes are getting paid. They bring in a ton of money for these schools. It's nice to see them finally coming around where they can actually get paid for this kind of stuff. Honestly, he'll be fine. I don't, as the one who likes to follow the Oregon Ducks to me, I hope he doesn't do that well in USC. But, I mean, it is what it is. We can move on with this season now. I'm kind of glad. Anytime this stuff happens, when there's rumors with, is the player going to leave? Is he going to stay? Half the time, I'm happy once the decision happens, just because the rumor's done. We don't have to deal with that anymore, It's finally it's over, and we can move on with the season with those who want to stay, That's what I like most about these, once these deals actually go down, not necessarily if he stays or not. So
yeah, here's my thing on this issue. And I started earlier as I was getting ready to prepare for the show, and I was looking at some of the comments. One of the things that really irritates me is when older gentlemen start talking, saying, oh, he's just going to chase the money, blah, 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 like that is a bad thing or whatever, this, that, and the third. First and foremost, we all know right damn and well, a lot of these athletes, especially, they're not going to play school. As an Ohio State Buckeye fan, for those that remember Mr. Cardale Jones, he made a tweet saying, we didn't play school. We go to, we're going to play football so we could go to the next level and try to make it to the NFL. But if you look at this, now we're in a time where the NCAA is making billions upon billions of dollars based off of these games. And the players, the people that that us as fans, us as media are watching, they're not getting a lick of that. And that was really messed up. However, again, I don't have this issue. Now, part of this is because I'm not the biggest of Panthers fans, but even if this happened to me at Ohio State, like say, for an example, well, we did just have that happen. Quinn Ewers. He was a number one prospect. He transferred out. He'd got an NIL deal in Texas. Congratulations. And I mean that sincerely. Congratulations, because you never know what's going to happen on this field. You might have a situation where you may never be able to play again. And now you're setting yourself up financially to make sure that you are getting some sort of compensation to where you're now able to get paid. And say something does happen and you can't make it to that next level where you can make more money. At least you have something now. Because if you didn't before, you would have been beyond screwed. And you hear a lot of athletes, for those, and this is going to be a plug real quick, for those that watch, I Am Athlete, the podcast. I don't know have you ever watched them? I
have not.
Okay. First off, the older stuff I loved. And there was an episode with Cam Newton where it was Cam Newton, Brandon Marshall, Chad Johnson, Fred Taylor, and that might have been it. And Cam talked about how he called him his partner, one of his people in his camp, one of his close friends, wasn't able to go and play football in the NFL because of something that happened to college football. And then you're sitting here like, I don't know what to do. And then on top of that, you don't have that kind of financial stability, especially after that. Now in this situation, you're able to make some money off your name, image, and likeness, which it should be. Now, in my personal opinion, I'm not going to ever judge someone for getting the money, getting to the bread, getting to the bag. I'm not ever going to judge someone for that. Congratulations to you and all your success, and I mean that sincerely. When it came time beforehand, when we were talking about NIL, did I personally think it was going to end up getting to the point of millions? Or my personal thought on this? I thought it would have been, okay, say a local sports memorabilia store wants to do an autograph signing, throw them a little bit of money, do something like that. That's fine. Did I think it was actually going to get to the millions part? No. But at the end of the day, you can't get mad at 18, 19, and 20, 21-year-old kids trying to do what's best for their family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that irritates me. And I think a lot of it has to do with jealousy. Part of me thinks that... Here, I'm going to bring in my mic real quick. I do think part of this might be a little bit of racism in there, because if you notice the demographic of people who get mad, yeah, I'll say that. But, and for those that disagree, that's fine. But that's just, something I see. Why the hell can you get mad at someone for going to get the bag? Imagine if this was your son. Imagine if 20 years later, Caleb Flatt Jr., we're going to say that, Mr. Jr., he's going, he plays for, let's say he plays for Oregon, your favorite college. And he gets an offer to say, hey, let's just say Utah. Utah offer, there's someone that could get him an NIL deal to make more money than what he's doing. Are you really going to say no to more money? Now, I understand that all of this isn't about money, but a lot of it has to do with it, especially if you know you're going to make it to the next level. That's all I got to say.
It's these players ditching on schools that one bad injury could cut them from scholarship.
And here's the thing, too, real quick.
There's not loyalty on the other direction, so why are we expecting it from these players?
Thank you. You just made my next point. I was just getting ready to stop you, but you beat me to it. But I'm happy you said it. And look at the coaches as well. Look at how many times these coaches can just leave like it's no tomorrow. Look at what the hell just happened to Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what the hell just happened to Brian Kelly going from Notre Dame to LSU. It happens. But why can't it be with the players? Because look at those coaches. They just went out and got more money. Why the hell can't it happen for the players too? The players that are actually playing the field or playing on the field. The people that are actually making the product that we're all watching, that we're consuming, that we're going to spend hard-earned money on. Why? That's just my opinion.
Now, I do think there needs to be a level of limiting how many times that these players can transfer.
Yes,
and
I can agree with that.
Yeah, we need to slow this down so this isn't like free agency every year. But again, like you said, if coaches are allowed to just up and leave, why can't these players just up and leave? And that's the hard part, even of putting a limit on it. Like, the NCAA is kind of a mess right now, and I'm all for watching it go down.
Yeah, and here's my other thing too. And this is something that I've seen different people mention before. And this is something that I don't like. And it's a mentality. And this goes back to fans wanting loyalty based on situations. For an example, again, I'm going to bring an Ohio State situation here. Jamison Williams. He was an Ohio State Buckeye originally. He did not get much playing time. Someone says Pittsburgh sucks. Thank you very much. Thank you for the comment. Ohio State. Again, Jamison Williams, he wasn't getting much playing time. And again, look at who the hell is in front of him. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Two of them just went back-to-back in the first round. And you have Jackson Smith and Jigba, who has the chance to be a top 5, most likely a top 10 pick in the NFL. What is this show? It's a Pittsburgh sports show. We come on each and every Thursday, so that is what we are. Thank you. But again, Jamison Williams, he knew he wasn't going to get much playing time, and he knew that his time was running out. People would say, "Well, you got to wait your turn. You got to wait your turn." That's not how it is. If you're able to go and play, especially if you're a freshman or a sophomore not being able to play, maybe that's one thing. But if you're getting ready to be a junior or senior and you're still not going to be able to play based on whatever situation it is, you have every right to go out and try to gain an opportunity. And that's exactly what he did. Jameson Williams went to Alabama and just became a first-round pick. Was that going to be the case with him at Ohio State? We don't know, but more chances no. And that's the thing that I don't like is people want loyalty out of players, but again, there's no loyalty at all with anyone else. That's just something that's very annoyed.
Now, part of me thinks that there should be some type of rule that where you can't transfer, and it should be the same with coaches, where you lose you can't within the next 2 years transfer into the same conference. So,
yeah,
if
I definitely agree. There needs to be some sort of regulation that happens. I do agree with that.
Well, even now with coaches and stuff, there should be at least you can't go between, you can't transfer in between a conference. You have to go somewhere else in between. So that way we lose out. So we just don't have these players stacking up on one team in a conference. But other than that, I don't really care how much how much these players can transfer if it benefits them. I just do think that there needs to be some type of regulation. So they can't all make a super team in a conference. But if you're going to go chase playing time or you're going to go chase what gives you and your family the best opportunity, who am I to stop you, you know?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just something to me that's really bothered me. And again, this goes back to back in my day. Yeah, well, back in your day, things completely have changed from the times of back in my day compared to the older generation of the back in my day territory. Things change. There's called evolution. And especially now with the amount of money that is at stake in this era that we are in, you gotta do what's best for you and your family. Who is Jordan Addison? Jordan Addison was a wide receiver who played for the University of Pittsburgh, right?
Yes.
Okay, the University of Pittsburgh, who transferred out to the University of Southern California to make basically off a name, image, and likeness deal where he was able to make a bunch of money. That's exactly who he is. That's why we're discussing, because it's a big deal that's going on. And again, And then you see this whole beef that's going on with Travis Hunter between Deion Sanders and Nick Saban. Like, this college football is just in shambles. And like you said, I'm loving it.
It makes it for an entertaining season. And I love that the SEC is all pissing each other off right now just between coaches. Like, this is going to be great to watch some of these matchups later after we have all these coaches taking shots at each other. So I'm all for it.
Yes, absolutely. Like, this is some entertaining shit, and I'm excited. As much as I'm excited about the Steelers season, I know for you, in terms of the Oregon Ducks, that's how excited I am about Ohio State this year. It's so exciting. Steel Black says, if I got crippled and could have played football, you want your bag. Exactly. That is exactly it right there. You don't know what's going to happen. So now, if say Jordan Addison, and I'm praying, I am hoping to the Lord above, nothing happens to any single player, but you never know what's going to happen. Say something happens to Jordan Addison or to any player, and they're not able to play football again. You'll at least have some sort of financial backing to help out with your family. Especially because some families where they come up from, they don't come from much. And this is the opportunity for those players to change lives of family members, of that entire family, from, coming up from poverty, coming up from nothing, to being able to be financially secure. What is wrong with that?
Now, look at it from just like football is these guys' career. Look at it from the career aspect, right? If you went and like say, let me just ask you real quick. If you were getting in an internship where you weren't making anything and you were given the chance to go make $1 million for a year, but you had to take that chance because who knows if you could get it later. Would you leave your unpaid internship to go make $1 million?
Yeah. Well, wait, whatever the answer was, yeah.
Yeah, you would. You leave and go make the money while you can because you're not guaranteed any of like. To me, I don't know why people are so angry with these players. Now, some of the tampering stuff that went on with the whole Jordan Addison situation, I get. If you want to be frustrated with the tampering stuff, him being in LA, him talking to Lincoln Riley, like that's fine. Be angry with that. But Addison leaving, like it's honestly good for him. And honestly, I'd like to see him do about average this season and come back and maybe reunite with Pickett next year.
So we just got a comment. I think he was calling Addison a quitter. How is that being a quitter? First and foremost, he went out and literally just won the Fred Blitnikoff Award. He showed he has success at Pitt. He easily could have done the same thing. But again, he put himself in a situation where he's going to be more financially stable than he was before. I don't know. That to me makes no sense at all. But
is Joe Burrow a quitter? Joe Burrow quit football. He quit on Ohio State. He's a quitter.
There you go. That's another perfect example. Look at that. He goes into a situation where he was going to end up being behind, Dwayne Haskins, where we all knew that Dwayne Haskins was going to be the starter. And RIP to Dwayne Haskins again. But you saw what he did at Ohio State in 2018. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow was in a situation where it didn't matter how much, he went out, got a new situation, and look at what the hell he's done for himself. Became the first overall pick in 2020, took LSU to a historic national championship game in 2019, and he just went on and played in the Super Bowl. Do you think that was going to happen if he would have stayed at Ohio State?
No.
No, because again, it goes back to look at some of these schools as well and just how great they are at recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
That it goes all back to that as well, and how much in terms of recruits and relationships and all that, it's a whole messed up situation at times. And I like what Steel Black says. He said, "Doesn't matter. Addison's coming home next year." Mm-hmm. Hey, Jordan Addison or Kenny Pickett to Jordan Addison. Yes, we love to see it.
Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if it happened either.
Although it's very interesting. It's an intriguing conversation to have. because again, now we all know the Steelers did just go out and sign or draft 2 wide receivers in this year's draft class with George Pickens and Calvin Austin III. And then we also got Mr. Deontay Johnson, who is not. It's not looking all that great on him becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler with a long-term contract after this season. So you never know what might just happen.
Yeah, but how many receivers have the Steelers given a second contract to?
And there you go. That's why I'm saying as well. Are we going to count Juju's 1-year deal? That was
no.
Okay. The last time was Antonio Brown. Speaking of Antonio Brown, we're going to get into Mr. Antonio Brown here later on in this show because, oh boy, Twitter just never fails to give us entertainment. But we do have other stuff we got to get into before we get into that. But, yeah, that was the last time. Mm-hmm. So it's not they need to ditch Claypool. I don't know if he has another pedestrian year like he did this year, and I'm calling it a pedestrian based on what his potential level is compared to also what we saw in 2020 in his rookie year, I think right now it's too early. I think he ran into a lot of the issues that players who had a decent amount of success in a rookie year, they go into their first full off season thinking that their shit don't stink, and we kind of saw what happened, and I'm hoping that we see a maturity level that happens in 2022 with Chase Claypool in terms of just how he looks at himself at games, the way he conducts himself, and just overall the amount of work that he's going to put into his craft to try to become. Because we all saw, we were nicknaming him Mapletron at one point of time because he showed that he has the assets, he has the tools to be a great wide receiver. But it just goes to, it all just depends.
I got nothing on our receivers. I got
That's what happens. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. All right. Now, I do know something that you're going to be able to talk about because I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to be like a recruit. We're going to go ahead. We're going to put on my hat here. We're going to put on my Pittsburgh Penguins hat because I'm literally just going to let you rant about everything and anything that comes with the Penguins because, wow. First and foremost, in Game 7. And second off, this could be possibly the end of an era. And I know you've been around them for a long time. You've been a fan of them for a long time. Pretty much, I'm just going to let you have the floor here.
Okay, another disappointing first-round exit. This one, let me leave with this. This was not on Mike Sullivan. The Penguins played a heck of a series. The Penguins outplayed the Rangers almost every single game. We did not get any of the lucky bounces. But you know what? We had plenty of the lucky bounces in 16 and 17 in both of our cup runs. So that's just hockey. I mean, it is what it is. We have a lot of free agents next year or this offseason. And we even it's even down to a new ownership group with potentially bringing in a new GM. Mm-hmm. So a lot is going to be up in the air. I do know that this wasn't on Mike Sullivan. Mike Sullivan will be back next year. The ownership group kind of already confirmed. He's one of the best coaches in hockey. This was not on him. Honestly, if Jari plays, if Jari's healthy, if we don't have a third string goalie, we win this series.
I was saying, look at the hand he was dealt. You go into the playoffs, and first off, in a series that a lot of people are probably thinking that you were going to get swept or maybe a gentleman's sweep. And you go into this, you look at the hand that he was dealt, you're already going into this thinking you're most likely going to have your backup goalie going throughout. He gets hurt in game 1, and then you have to go with the guy who is the comparison to Ryan Fitzpatrick as your goalie. Yes, he has the magical game 1, and we start having this fun King Deming and spicy pork and broccoli. We get it. But at the end of the day, we saw what was going to happen, especially when you get into a 7-game series. They're going to figure him out, and that's exactly what the hell happened.
And we had a Mr. Game 1. We had a third-string goalie that came in 2016, but he played one game, and then it went back to Murray and Fleury. That That's not a sustainable thing. Now, it's the question of, is this the last game we saw with our core? And to me, I think it is. We have like Crosby will be back, but with Gino and Letang, like those guys are both are free agents, and Malkin needs a pay cut. His cap hit was 9.5 this year, going into his 36-year-old season. Yes, he was a point per game player, but that is you can replace that for cheaper than 9.5 million. If Malkin takes a pay cut and they want to extend him 3 years to go with Crosby somewhere in the 6.5 to 7 range, I'm all for it. But he's not going to get 9.5 million.
No.
Now, Letang, that's the hard one. There's nobody to replace Letang. Letang's playing some of the best hockey in his career. So I would like to see Letang get prioritized. But honestly, with the new ownership group, it sounds like Letang and the Penguins are far apart. But who knows? I'd like to see Letang back. He didn't pair up well with Matheson, but Matheson could slide down with Marino. Dumoulin has one more year left next year. He is a shell of himself. He looks like he's getting older. Letang, complete opposite. He's playing some of the best hockey in his career. So I'd like to figure out a way to bring back Letang, and I'd like to see when it comes to on like the forward side of it. There's a lot of the hard part is they paid Carter too early. Carter had one good year, but you could see the signs of age, and now he's getting a pay raise. Yeah. So that's the hard part. But people keep saying like, oh, we need to rebuild the core. It's done. With this group, the same way, because now we're on with this Fenway group, they're going to want to spend at the cap, and they're going to want to put a competitive team out. We see it happen with Liverpool. We see it happen with the Red Sox. Shoot, we see it happen with RFK Racing. They're always spending money to do like this. The Fenway group doesn't rebuild. They've even come out and said that. So I could see them prioritizing Letang, and letting Malkin walk unless we can get something, unless we get Malkin cheaper. Honestly, you can get a second line center to easier replace. He's point per game, but he might even drop down to the third line center. Carter can't play that second line center role, so we'd have to go out and get somebody. But honestly, if we lose Malkin, like there's some guys on here that we can then pay people because we'll have the money. We'll go out and spend. Honestly, Rust is gone for how much money he's gonna want. He deserves every penny of it. Raquel just played so well with Crosby, and Raquel is about the same amount of money. I'd like to see Crosby, Jake, and Raquel as that first line going into next year, and then kind of rebuild from below there. I'd like to find out a way to bring in Heinen again. I'd like to see if we can't bring in Evan Rodriguez again. Like, those guys would be great. Brock McGinn is going to be here for a while. Let's just go down the list here. We have Zucker for a while. Kapanen's gone. Kapanen, I mean, we knew this experiment when we sent him to Toronto. Toronto figured this out. Same thing. We came to the conclusion now. Kapanen had a halfway decent year last year. He meshed with Carter well. Kapanen just wasn't it this year. Yeah. That's 3.2 million that you're letting walk away. Like, there's money to be had. There's money to spend. I mean, shoot, Brian Broyle's gone. That's $750,000 that's gone. Like, there's money to be had here to be able to pour some money back into this team to stop rebuilding. Shoot, we have POJ, Pierre-Olivier Joseph. He's coming up next year. He'll be sliding in there somewhere in the defense. So the biggest priority we need to sign, in my opinion, if it was me, is we got to re-sign Letang. We got to re-sign Raquel. And we have to figure out some way to bring in a 1B goalie. DeSmith's gone. Louis Domingue is gone. We need to bring in another good goalie to take away starts from Jari. Jari played amazing this year. Jari just can't start that much or he's going to get hurt. We need to find someone who can make consistent starts. And I like DeSmith, but DeSmith is a good backup. We need to bring in a good 1B goalie. And so it's excited to see what they're going to do next season.
So real quick, as you were going, we got a couple comments in the chat. I don't know if you're paying attention. We got one that says, Caleb seems like he knows what he's talking about. I don't know about this other guy. First and foremost, when it comes to hockey, I ain't gonna lie, you are absolutely right. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to hockey. It's my first full year. So yes, you were right. Caleb does know what he's talking about. Then my man Steel Black says, dude, Kirby is the GOAT. Hey, I appreciate you, my man. All love. And then the unidentified gamer says, never mind, I take back what I said about Caleb.
Hey, all I got to say is there was a comment by that guy or person to trade Crosby, but he must not know what he's talking about because Crosby has a full no-move clause and isn't going anywhere. We can't even trade him if we wanted to.
Hey, we're just going to go ahead and... We're just going to go ahead and smoke on this pack real quick.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see next year going in. I'd like to – I mean, the defense is there. Even if we can't bring in Letang, it'd be nice. We could use him. But even if they don't bring back Letang, you have Matheson, Marino still left. Dumoulin's still shell of himself, but we still got him for another year. Patterson's back. Ruhwedel's back. Friedman's here. And we could bring up Pierre-Olivier Joseph. So we don't have that true number one, but then we can use that money to spend to make the forwards well, or to get a 1A or 1B goalie. Like, we have money to spend if we clear out some of this cap. So obviously, it's going to be interesting to see. We're going to have to probably do an episode closer to free agency where we kind of come up with our plans of what we'd like to see done. But honestly, it's too early to tell. Everyone just spoke to the media. Let's kind of let this whole GM search thing, if they're going to keep Hextall, if they're going to not. We still need the president of hockey operations. Let's see what Fenway Sports Group does with this before we start to speculate. But this is, while the core of Crosby, Malkin, and Letang might be done, the Penguins aren't rebuilding yet. As long as Sidney Crosby's on this team, and he just came out and said that he wants to play for the Penguins for 3 more years, at least finish out his contract, and then go year by year after that. He's going to play until he's 38, and then he's going to go on year-by-year contracts.
All right.
With the Penguins, so he's not going anywhere. He's not going to waive his no-move clause. So, as long as Crosby's on this team isn't rebuilding. And as long as Fenway Sports Group is here, they don't like to rebuild. They're going to spend everything they can. And a lot of people don't realize this. Yes, we might not have this amazing core, but we will have money to go out and get people instead of just this piecemeal lineup to fill up our third or second and third lines. We'll actually be able to spend. So it's going to be interesting to see this offseason. It's one of the ones I'm most excited for as a Penguins fan over the last about 10 years.
Yeah. We got a couple more comments. It says, he wants to be traded. He'd waive it. And then he said Crosby to the Avalanche.
Which that's right. If he wanted to be traded, he could waive his no-move clause. But he just came out and said that he wants to play out the rest of his contract with the Penguins. So we'll at least be here and through the next 3 seasons.
Yeah. And then Steel Black says, baseball and hockey are my least know sports. For me, it's football, basketball, and UFC. Yeah, see, and here real quick, this is what makes me and Caleb so great. He knows a whole shit ton about the Penguins and the Pirates. Me, when it comes to the Steelers, I'm your man. Why the hell do I have 3 different hats right here? I do not know. But
you showed me those before the show, so I was just waiting for you to get them in just to flex that you have 3 hats sitting. I'm not even wearing Pittsburgh stuff today. I'm going full on Liberty, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, so and that's why when it comes, we know everything about everything. It's just we have our specialties. I'm the Steeler main guy, and you're the Pirates and Penguins main guy, which is what's nice about it. So pretty much all in all, Caleb carries me every week when he does show up.
No, that's not even close to true.
You know damn well that's true.
No, I'm gonna say no.
You're gonna waive your no or not waive your no waive clause.
I'm just not taking any more questions. I'm just here so I can find.
Johnny Bravo says Kirby like the video game pink thing. I don't know what that means, but I appreciate it. And then he says I have a show too. Well, what's your show? Comment down below. I'll check it out. All right. Do you want to do any reminiscing about the last 16 years or so with this core, or do you not want to because you might start crying?
It's too fresh for me. It's hard to see, and honestly, it might not be the end because we're probably going to bring either one of Letang and Malkin back. Crosby's still going to be on this team, but I'll tell you what, this has been the best.
Oh my god, is this really who I think this is? He says, have you ever heard of her? I swear to God, if this is who I think it is, I hate you so much. Oh my Jesus Lord. Yes, I have, sir.
I'm kind of with Johnny Bravo here, though. You don't know who like the Kirby video game thing is?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even do video games, and I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, okay, now I get what you mean. Yeah. I had a brain fart for a second. LMFAO owned. What a troll. What a troll job. Jumped on the burner for this whole episode to stir it up. Oh, God, I can't wait to hear about this later on. My God. I cannot wait to hear about this later on. Pretty much, I appreciate you, Smitty. You're a pain in my ass sometimes, but I appreciate it. But, yeah, I was going to say, it does seem very fresh, and obviously when it becomes closer time to free agency, we'll have to definitely get we'll have to get our man, Mr. Jesse Marshall, who we had on earlier in the season. We'll have to get him back on. We'll talk about everything that might happen with free agency. He said everything I said is literally the opposite of how I feel. Well, now that I know it's you, I know that you would actually say something of logic. So I appreciate you. Hey, I appreciate you. But yeah, if you want to enjoy some more, we might have to get into this Antonio Brown thing here, which in fact we might as well go ahead and do right in the hell now, because we're going to show you another tweet, because again, Twitter, there is no such thing as a lack of entertainment that there is on Twitter. There was a tweet by none other than Mr. Antonio Brown, just randomly out of nowhere saying, just want to retire a Steeler. And we all, including myself, went into a frenzy, like, what in the hell? What I missed just got here. Oh, good Lord have mercy. You missed a whole lot. Around the 412, you missed a whole freaking lot. That's what happened. Whoever this Kirby guy was, he got trolled so bad. So, and Caleb gets carried by Kirby. Kirby gets carried by Caleb every week. That's what you just missed. But what you're not about to miss is this talk about Mr. Antonio Brown saying he wants to retire a Steeler. And at first we're all sitting here like, wait a second, are you saying you want to come back? Is this a comeback story? Like, what the hell's going on here? And then he's like, nah, he just wants to retire here. He doesn't want to play. But that brings you up, that brought up the discussion of, say right now, he says, I do want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers again. You wouldn't bring him back? You wouldn't allow him back?
We have too much going on with these receivers that we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out if Claypool's coming back, like who Claypool is going to be. Are we going to get 2 years ago or last year Claypool? We have these new guys. We have too many question marks on this team. I don't know if Pittsburgh media could handle Antonio Brown as well for the year. Like, I'm good. Honestly, though, you know who could use Antonio Brown? It's Pittsburgh Maulers.
Listen, I'm going to disagree with you.
Oh.
I would say I would definitely bring him back. 1 day contract for him to retire. Yeah, if he was going to retire, that would pretty much be what happened. He would just sign a 1 day deal, and then he retires a Steeler, and then we go on about our business, and then we can really talk about his legacy in Pittsburgh. Because if you remember, back a while ago, you, me, and a certain someone who is no longer on the show, we all had a discussion. We all had a huge discussion between Hines Ward and Antonio Brown, and I was the only person that thought that Antonio Brown deserved to be in the Hall of Fame more than Hines Ward. And y'all jumped on me like it was no tomorrow. But when you look at it, yes, we all know Antonio Brown has become a damn lunatic. But you saw what he was able to do for us. And we saw even the last time that he's played, when he's healthy, he can still be productive. Imagine giving Kenny Pickett, someone that you know for a fact that you can trust, to go out there and make a play. Wouldn't that be like the best thing that you could ever do for a rookie wide receiver? Or
am I just quarterback?
Huh?
You mean quarterback?
Or yeah, a rookie quarterback. Yeah. Listen.
Because see, my opinion is it helps our rookie wide receivers for him not to be there.
You said what?
I think it helps our rookie wide receivers for him to not come back. So,
See, here's my thing. And we understand, and we're starting to see this in terms of contracts and how much money these wide receivers are getting. Those contracts and the values are starting to go up a whole lot more because we're in this very pass heavy league. You need guys who are going to make plays out there, wide receiver. There's already a bunch. There are questions with Kenny Pickett. There is. As much as we don't want to say he's perfect or this and the third. No, there are questions when it comes to him. And you want to try to surround him with as many weapons as possible. Deontay Johnson, we saw what he did last year. We think, as long as he keeps his head on right, he has the potential to be another great receiver for us. Chase Claypool, we'll see what this offseason has done for him in terms of maturity. Then you go down the list. You go and you get George Pickens. We don't know what he's going to be like. Yeah, he was nice at Georgia. We don't know what he's going to be like. Get Calvin Austin III. We don't know what he's going to be like. So in that situation, say if your top 3 wide receivers are, just in hypothetical, Antonio Brown, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. That is deadly, especially for a rookie wide receiver, because now you have 3 studs. Because you have a true number 1. At one point, that was the best wide receiver in the NFL for a few year span in Antonio Brown. Deontay Johnson, he just had himself over 100 catches last year in his best year in his 3-year career. Chase Claypool, there's not as much pressure on him now. You're not getting your number 1 or your number 2 corner on him, because now all 3 of those guys become issues. And then on top of that, you add Pat Freiermuth, who's a guy who's going to, that Kenny Pickett's going to like in certain situations. Then you Najee Harris coming out of the backfield. You've upgraded your offensive line. Oh boy! Now I have a better shot of losing 100 pounds than that happening, but I
think the question comes down to, though, if Antonio Brown was to come back for a year, which Antonio Brown would you be getting? One who just puts his head down, plays the entire season for us, and could be that number 1 wide receiver and that mentor? Or would you get the guy who's full of drama, quits mid-season, gets cut? Like, would you have this off-the-field stuff? Are you going to get that? Because that is what we don't need any more of this year with too many young guys on the team. Now, if you were told that, like, if you could tell me that if I was making a decision, you could sit down and convince me that he was going to just put his head down and play football, yeah, I'd bring Antonio Brown back. But it's all the off-the-field stuff that, to me, is way bigger than what he could provide on the field that would just make it like, hey, I'll pass. Now, as for the one-day contract thing, sure, you want to sign, you want to retire as a Steeler, sure. He is in the conversation of the best Steeler, one of the best Steeler wide receivers in history. He's obviously on this Steelers all-offensive team. That's fine. If you want to bring him back for a one-day contract, that's fine. I really don't think that's this big of an issue. I think Antonio Brown is just – he's going to – honestly, I could see him having a career doing, influencing and acting and music and all that other kind of stuff.
Which is kind of what he's slowly done already.
That's what he's slowly starting to do. And, honestly, if he wants to be successful, he has some businesses and stuff, good for him. But – one-day contract, sure. Bringing him back if he's gonna just use it to mess around, I want to keep all that drama as far away from our young guys as possible.
But I also look at, and Johnny Bravo, I do see your comment here, and in fact, we'll get into that here in a second. So don't think I'm ignoring you. We're not. Again, yeah. If you can get into a situation where it's okay, we'll bring you in on a 1-year deal. If you start causing drama, we'll just cut you. We'll just get you the hell out, and we'll go on about our business. But you never know. Say if he does come back and say, "Hey, yeah, I'm gonna put my head down. I saw how this fan base embraced me when I was here. When I did put my head down and worked. I realized that at the end of the day, they did treat me right. We loved him, and we all did. We all loved Antonio Brown because he was a monster, especially with Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, hold on, give me a second. Do you still hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, both my screens just what the hell for a second.
I was gonna say you froze up real bad on my screen, but
okay, there we go. All right, there we go. I don't know what the hell just happened, but things just went to hell, and now we should be all right here. Let me make sure that we are still live. I don't know what the hell happened.
So you're saying the live stream's being unpredictable and quitting on you midway through the year?
Yes, exactly. That is
exactly what I'd want to avoid with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, because right now okay, real quick, y'all can see Caleb, or y'all can see me, but y'all can't see Caleb, which is weird. Okay, there we go. Never mind. We can see. There we go. We are back. We're back and live. We had to fight through some adversity. Probably what would happen if the Steelers did sign Antonio Brown, but there is that. There we go. We are back. I don't know, both of our screens, because I'm the one that runs the production here. Just both my screens just went straight to hell, but I heard Caleb still. You also have to remember he might have burned bridges. That is something true. That is very true as well. He might have with some fans. But I think at the end of the day, all heals, or what is it? Time heals all wounds?
Winning also heals all wounds.
And again, we're in a situation where, and I hate admitting this, but there is a good shot right now. We are most likely last in the division, but it's not by much, and that's only because we have the question marks about our quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But, so what do you do in that situation? You add as much talent as you possibly can. We, as Steeler fans and outsiders, talking about the Steelers draft, saying that we had a phenomenal draft. We all loved what they did. Go and get your quarterback of the future. You get George Pickens. You go and get Calvin Austin III. You get DeMarvin Leal. We all love those. We all love those picks. We have no issues with those. Of course, we all love Connor Hayward. I mean, of course, he's a Hayward. Duh. We all gotta love him. But you look at it, trying to bring as much talent around him, and that is how you help ease in a rookie quarterback. And again, yes, there's a whole lot of question marks when it comes to Antonio Brown on what kind of player you're going to be. And I guess it would just come into a situation of just talking to him and saying, listen, him and Mike Tomlin, whoever the new GM is going to be, Art Rooney, get all of them in a room together and really discuss this. And if they truly feel like, hey, I think he's going to put his head down, he's going to work, and he's going to be a good receiver for us, abso-damn-lutely you sign him. Speaking QB, Mason is gone. He needs to be gone. My God. But that's just my opinion on Antonio Brown. If we had the opportunity to bring him back, I personally would.
See, I wouldn't. So I think every time we brought up Antonio Brown,
yes,
in the history of this show, you and I have been exact opposite, and it's made for a good conversation.
Yes, and Steel Black says when the 45. I think you mean when it comes down to the 53-man roster, because you get 53 on the roster when it comes time to that. But yeah, and it's just I think part of it, me is, and I guess I'll ask you this: Did Antonio Brown burn bridges with you?
With me, I think that no, but it gave a huge bunch of question marks that I was kind of glad we didn't have that drama on the team when all the stuff went down with the Raiders, the one game with the Patriots for the staying in the house and dealing with legal stuff, and then quitting on to me, there's just been a whole lot of I'm glad that didn't happen with us and we didn't have that dealing with us as Steeler fans. But no athlete truly burns bridge. Unless you come out and go after a city, I don't think he actually burned. We traded him. It's not like he left in free agency. To me, it isn't as much the burnt bridges. It's now taking shots at Ben. That might have burnt bridges with some people, but Ben's gone too. To me, it's To me, it's more just the question marks of all of the outside stuff that's like, hey, I'm glad that that happened with the Raiders. I'm glad that that happened in New England with their franchise. I'm glad it happened with Tampa. Like, I'm glad we didn't have to deal with that more than just some burnt bridges.
Yeah, and I think, and part of it for me is he hasn't burned the bridge with me, and it's Steel Black says, "Why does Caleb look like Orlando Bloom?" No, Caleb is literally. You know what? Breaking news, everyone! We're having an interview right now with Brian Hayes. That's who we're interviewing right now. Brian, how are you today? Or no, we're Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds, how are you doing today, Mr. Brian Reynolds? That's exactly who we have.
Could be better.
You know what? I should just change your name tag. It should just say Brian Reynolds.
Well, I mean, think about it. How many times have we gotten the whole Orlando Bloom or Brian Reynolds? I feel like it's been at least 10 now combined with those.
Are we starting to get to the point where Caleb and Kirby are handsome dudes? That's why. Hey, I appreciate that. We love all the positivity.
I'll take that.
Hey, I'll take that, especially because, hold on real quick, we did just get a fresh haircut about 2 hours ago, so, that's how we do it over here. But we do appreciate that comment. But back to the regularly scheduled programming. Yeah, Antonio Brown never did burn a bridge with me. And yes, this whole thing sucked when everything was going on in 2018 or the beginning of 2019 with him wanting out and blah, blah, blah. And it sucks. And it especially sucks, too, because we had him traded away to Buffalo for, I believe it was like the 10th pick or something, 10th or 9th pick, and he said no. Which, if you look at it this way, look at it in hindsight, imagine Antonio Brown.
Move.
Huh?
That was a bad move saying no to that.
Imagine Antonio Brown with Josh Allen. Oh, boy, with this offense, oh, my God. That would have been lethal. But, yeah, that was bad judgment. But then, I guess at the same time, though, if you look at it, Josh Allen that first year did not look good at all. But, again, For those that don't remember, he was a project coming into this. So, but, again, hindsight is 2020. And it sucks again, the whole thing that happened. But I don't know. There's just a part of me that, like, it kind of hurt me when he got a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. And it wasn't more of anger. It was more. Now, if Le'Veon Bell, maybe there would have been a tiny bit of anger there.
There's the bridges burned are with Le'Veon Bell of the two of them. He, I think, burnt the bridges more than anybody else with Steelers fans.
Yeah. With Antonio Brown, it's like, but a part of me, again, and this goes back to he hasn't burned a bridge with me. I wanted him to get a Super Bowl because I feel like that really justifies more of what could have been the Hall of Fame career that he was on. Again, and this goes back to that conversation, that infamous conversation that we had months and months ago between Hines Ward and Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, at one point in time, when you compare their numbers, was very similar to Jerry Rice. Anytime you can legitimately be put in a conversation with Jerry Rice at any sort of capacity, you're doing something great. So why? Now, and this goes back to, again, why I wanted the Rams to win. I wanted to see Matthew Stafford win a Super Bowl. Now, Aaron Donald, I wanted to see him win one, but we all know he's amazing. We all know he's going to go down as one of the best defensive players of all time. But Matthew Stafford was one of those guys that he could have had the numbers, but if you don't have the Super Bowl, it's really hard to maybe justify. Now you're a Super Bowl champion. Now you have that on your resume. Now that makes that conversation a whole lot more interesting. And that's exactly what I was thinking with Antonio Brown. You look at those numbers from, 2013 to 2018. And that span of time, no one was touching him. Maybe outside of Julio Jones. But Antonio Brown was better. And I could say this now, even way past after him not being here. But when you look at it, Antonio Brown was that dude. You remember, Mark Jackson from the NBA. Mama, there goes that man. That's exactly what you say when you look at Antonio Brown in those years. And if
Yeah,
you,
I mean, if honestly, if you could sit down and get him to say and believe him to say that not all the off the field stuff, I wouldn't mind having him back. But because there are no burned bridges, it's those happened with Le'Veon Bell. It's just the off the field stuff makes me wonder bringing him back. But honestly, I don't mind him coming back and signing a 1 day contract to retire. I mean, just let him do it. Athletes do that all the time. It's completely meaningless. It truly is. So why
yeah,
not?
I mean, now the chances of this happening again, I probably have a better shot of losing 120 pounds than that happening. But it's always an intriguing conversation, and you never know. You know what is an intriguing conversation? How in the blue hell do you get no hit and still win a game?
Let's go Bucks, baby.
And first and foremost, yeah, let's also talk about how my Guardians also just lost 2 games in a row to them. So, ooh, boy.
The Reds are somehow heating up. I don't understand. I don't understand that. Honestly, the Pirates are confusing to me right now. And I could go on like an hour rant about this team, and I know we only have a couple of minutes. But I don't understand.
We have as much time as we shall need.
I don't understand why our best players aren't up here at the moment. But at the same time, we have a little bit of a like with Contreras and Cruz. But then at the same time, it's more like Mason Martin and Contreras because Cruz is not playing well in Indianapolis. Now, is that because he's pissed off that he's in Indianapolis and he's not up on the team? I've seen that bouncing around. Who knows? But honestly, we have a little bit, and this has been bouncing around this week, and it's kind of like divided Pittsburgh Pirates Twitter. But do the Pirates have a little bit of a core in the build here with Gamble, Reynolds, Hayes, Vogelback, and who else will we throw in there? And Chavis.
I was gonna say,
like, do we have a little bit of a core that we're starting to build on?
Because Johnny Bravo here, he says Vogelbach is so good.
Vogelback is amazing.
Vogelbach is great. A man. He is a legend of all legends right now.
He's not great.
As a fellow fat man, anytime I can see a fat man do something great, we love to see it. As we got a new comment from Chris Fincutter here. What's up? The Pirates never be good again unless Andy Van Slyke can come out of retirement.
I don't know if Andy Van Slyke coming out of retirement is a possibility, but it might be better than Josh Van Meter.
But yeah, speaking of Daniel Vogelbach here, he's batting 252. He has 6 home runs, which leads the team, 14 RBIs with an OPS of 811. Which, okay, it's not terrible, especially for, the kind of player that he is. And then Johnny says, I loved him before he came to Pittsburgh, so happy. That's how I was with Roberto Perez, which we just found out he also had to get season-ending injury or surgery on his hamstring, which sucks because.
But let's be
real. As also a Guardians fan, I loved Roberto Perez. I loved Bebo, and now that he was a Pirate, I'm like, okay, that makes me happy. He's on my other team, and then he gets hurt for the year. I'm like, damn.
With that though, we all knew that was happening. We all knew he was going to get hurt and he wasn't going to finish the season. So it sucks that it was so early, but we all saw it coming. I don't know. Especially our pitching is starting to come around too. Like even we've been using open. Now it didn't work out well with Monday night with Peter's opening, but our openers have been halfway decent. We're starting to get some decent starts out of Thompson and Quintana, especially. Like this team isn't as bad as people think. Now people like to pile on and say the Pirates think they're never going to do anything. And well, I don't necessarily agree with all of the decisions they're making with not bringing up Contreras, Cruz, and Martin. The reason why I don't understand Contreras. Cruz, he's making a solid statement to stay down there with his 167 batting average and OPS in the 400s. He's keeping himself down there. Until he gets hot, he's going to stay down there at this point. With Mason Martin, people keep saying, why don't you bring him up like you brought up Sawinski? Well, Yoshi's there. We paid Yoshi $4 million to play first base. He's only going to be here a year. And then I could see, I will be shocked if in 2023, Contreras, Cruz, Mason Martin, Henry Davis, all don't make appearances on this team at some point. This team is on the up and up. This team is better than they were last year. This team
Oh
plays
yeah.
with heart.
Well,
This
they're
team's fun to
16 and
watch.
21. That's not, if you look at it, especially with where they're at, 16 and 21 is not bad at all. If you're a Pirates fan, you should not be mad at that at all. It could be way worse.
Yeah, we could be way worse. We saw them last year make it to 14 and 14 and then absolutely fall off. This team is a lot better than last year's team, so it's going to be exciting to see. We're about a quarter of the way through the season, so I'd like to see once we actually get, a third or more through, but we'll see.
And you mentioned too Jose Quintana. So his stats so far, he has a 1-1 record, 2.19 ERA, which is top 10 in all of baseball, which is great.
Yeah.
30 strikeouts with a whip of 1.08, which is 20th. Pretty all right, nice. Do you look at his last start that he had on Sunday against the Reds? 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned, 5 Ks, 1 walk.
That was the no-hit game.
Yeah. That was... and you look at the games that he has pitched in the last 5, they're 4-1. They're 4-1 in the last 5 games that he has pitched in. Again, you go back to that one of the games against the Dodgers, which, $263 million. We love to see it. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, no earned. So again, yeah, maybe you would have liked to see the walks go down a tiny bit there. But again, good starts. And that's what you need, especially with a young team like this. You need good starts out of players like Jose Quintana, and that's exactly what he's brought you.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd like to see them extend Quintana. We need to – that's the thing that's falling short is we don't have the pitching – the bats are coming up. The defense is coming up, and they're going to be decent in the next 2 years. The pitching, the starters is where we're lacking. We're going to need to go out and buy starters anyway. Might as well extend Quintana, give him a 2-year extension. I'd like to see that. Who knows if that's actually going to happen? The thing that's gonna tick off fans the most. This right here. This trade deadline is the breaking point. Is this team gonna ride this up and up? Are they going to be like above 500 next year, competent, making a run at the playoffs? Not necessarily contending, but making a run at the playoffs this next 3 years. It all depends. Do they buy at this said deadline or sell? This is the chance that you can buy somebody cheap. But if you start selling off these people, if you don't extend Quintana, you have to pay somebody. If you don't start paying some of these people, then and you sell off some of these pieces,
it just becomes that cycle all over again.
But at the same time, it's Heath Hembree and Quintana, and then maybe Gamble. But Gamble, I'd like to see them extend Gamble too, because he's one of those quality outfielders, maybe a borderline third, fourth outfielder that's a major league ball player. Hembree, if you can get anybody to buy him, that's fine. But most of these guys are under team control for a while, and that's something that the Pirates kind of did with this rebuild is they have a lot of guys who are under control for a while. So are we going to buy? I'd like to see the Pirates buy at the deadline. I'd like to see extending Quintana. I'd like to see maybe bring in a starter at the deadline, somebody cheap like a Quintana who's been bounced around and isn't necessarily the highest quality now, but could grow. I mean, Quintana was just thrown out to the trash when we picked him up, and look at him. He's doing just fine. He needed just a solid landing place.
We get to see him tomorrow pitching at home against the St. Louis Cardinals, which will be on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, let's take a series from the Cardinals here. I'd like to finally beat the Redbirds. I think they've been trending down. They're only 2 games above 500. Let's take a series from the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. They lost 2 out of 3 against the Mets. Or no, they lost 3 out of the 4 against the Mets. Yeah, I mean, if you're able to do that, and again, continue to gain a little bit more momentum, especially now, I would love to see that. And I also, okay, never mind. I saw something that was a little weird, but yeah, you would love to see, again, just continue on to, if you could win this series, and then on top of that, you go against the, here, hold on. Where's the Pirates at? I just had them up, and then they just disappeared on me, so that's just nice.
The next series is we have the Rockies at home, and then we go to San Diego, go to LA.
There you go. So you had me beat there. So Congratulations on being prepared. Okay, there we go. We forgot to answer this. Thank you very much for for reminding us. We do have this comment that we need to answer. Which Pittsburgh team is the most handsome?
Are we talking like who has the coolest branding? Is that what we're trying to go for here? Like
I was
who,
gonna say,
like,
yeah.
theming
Clarify
and
that a
branding?
little bit more in terms of what you mean, because this could be very different. Because, I mean, if we're talking maybe handsome, I think the Pirates are the best in terms of like, some of their branding and stuff. But obviously,
Now, if we're talking branding, the Pirates have some of the best branding in all of sports with being on the river, the bridges, the Pirates theme, the Jolly Roger. Like, that's some of the best branding in all of sports.
he says no players.
Players, I'm
No,
going to
he
go
says
with
no
comment.
players. No
Yeah,
players.
So just the team itself, like just the branding, it's got to be the Pirates. They have some of the best branding in all of sports.
You can see my hat.
They have one of, if not the best stadium in all of American sports. If you throw out nostalgia and just talk about nice stadium, which we've talked about this before, like they're on the river with the bridges, the Pirates,
That view is insane.
Jolly Roger flag. The view is amazing. Like, especially the stuff they did in the outfield. Like, Pirates have the best branding in American sports.
He says handsome players. Oops. Pause. And we're live, everyone. How are we doing today? No, I don't know, honestly.
I don't know.
I don't know if I want to answer that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna not say anything.
We're gonna plead the fifth here. I'm using a timeout. It depends on what sport we're using. If we're talking hockey, well, I just used our one, and if we're talking football, we got two more, so we're good. We're on the final drive here, so we'll find out if we need the other two or not. But yeah, I just think overall, yeah, with the Pirates, continue on to build a little bit more, gain a little bit more momentum, and you go up against the Rockies. That can be a winnable series.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the Padres. Okay, yeah, the Padres are, they're decently good right now. Then you get the Dodgers again. Well, they're going to be looking for revenge on you after you just beat them in a series. Then go to that. Then you get the Diamondbacks. Winnable series. Tigers. Winnable series.
Braves. Winnable series.
Yeah, so, I mean, you have some winnable series coming up. You just need to be able to find a way to get the bats going, continue to get quality starts, and you might be onto something. And then that's exactly, and this is going to be perfect because people like, when I say people like you, the people that are already going to be invested in the team regardless. Now, when you look at it, I'll say from my perspective, a guy that, is, I would say I'm definitely a huge casual Pirates fan. But if you can get, you start, and if you want to say bandwagonish, whatever, that's fine. I don't really care. But it's not just me. It could be other people too. You start to win a little bit more. You might start to get more people invested. That might mean that more people are going to start coming to the ballpark. We're starting to get into the area now where there's going to be more people that might want to go to the ballpark, so it's going to be nice. More money comes in, and then you start the cycle of positivity in terms of, okay, we might be able to spend a little bit more money. So it's just all becomes the player, you can continue to build some, get some momentum, continue to win some games. Things might end. That's when a slow cycle of positivity starts to trickle around. That's exactly what could happen.
I'd like to see him extend Quintana, extend Gamble, maybe buy something small at the deadline. Like, this team is way better than last year, and people are still hating on the Pirates because bats are struggling. I mean, we saw the 21-0 game. We saw 9-0. We saw 7-0. You know what? You have to beat the teams in your division, but 16-21 is not bad. Let's see. Let's get hot. Let's see him go on a run here.
Yeah. Other than that, you got anything else you want to say, or I think we might be good.
I mean, Muller's got to win. Yeah.
I think I'm more interested in this next smoke that I'm gonna make. But other than that, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you everyone for who's been commenting the last couple weeks. We've been getting a lot more comments, which we do greatly appreciate that a ton. If you haven't yet, make sure to go and follow me on Twitter. My Twitter, I realized my Twitter thing is wrong. It is now Jeff_Kirby412. It's not Jeff_Kirby99 because that account no longer exists because, well, I got clapped. Fun chilling with Yins. Hey, I appreciate that a ton. And, yeah, make sure to go and follow Caleb as well because he recently just hit over 100 followers, which is great. We love to see it.
It's been a long journey.
It's been a long journey, but we're here. You're at 106.
Mm-hmm.
The road to 200 is coming.
Oh, yeah.
The road is coming for that. And make sure to also follow us on Twitter at Renegade_table. If you haven't yet, make sure to click that red subscribe button. It's completely free. And until then, hope to see you guys in either the next video. I apologize for slacking on the videos. Just life has been crazy. And, it's just how it is. It's kind of a slow time right now. If you really want us to start maybe doing a little bit more like Pirates Fit reaction videos, whenever we're able to, we'll definitely get that out for you guys. But until then, I'm Jeff.
I'm Caleb.
You're Caleb. Hope you
I'm
guys
Orlando Bloom.
Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy the weather because it's beautiful as almighty hell. Stay safe. Peace out. Go Bucks.
Let's go Buccos, baby.